All right, let's do this. I'm in the mood to get down like a clown, Charlie Brown. We're going to talk about Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington's recent leaked arrest and interrogation tapes because, my goodness gracious, we got to figure out if these are real, bro. Look it. This is the channel where I talked about, look, I think this might be a work, you guys. I don't believe that their beef is real. And so now that we have all this visual evidence, we got to go through it and we got to see how we feel about it. Because look, man, I don't know yet. I don't know. If I had to bet, I would say 80% it's real, but I haven't seen these videos yet, right? Maybe in these videos, they're going to do something where I'm going to be like, no. Or I'm going to be like, all right, this is real for sure. I always said that the way that I would just literally seal off any doubt whatsoever that it's real is if Masvidal takes a charge and he ends up on paper permanently, right? Even if he got like, they're all convicted, 10 days community service. I'll be like, it's real. He's not going on paper for any work. That's not happening. But yeah, so this evidence is pretty overwhelming, though. Looks like it's probably real. Looks like I might have been wrong. But nonetheless, we're going to go through all of it. And because I have seen a little bit of it, and it's great, man. It's great. Masvidal's cool as a cucumber. And Colby is like, hello, sir. I am picking up my merit badge right after I tell you all of the relevant details about the assault that took place tonight. I've never been in trouble before. I have worked with the police, but generally in a service where I can provide information that's going to help them make an arrest and ultimately convict a violent felon, except not quite as, clean and well-spoken as that. He is hilarious. I love Masvidal and I love Colby, just for the record. I'm going to tease Colby a little bit in this video just because he is a goody two-shoes. It's a lot easier for me to tease goody two-shoes than it is people who are cool under pressure in the police box. But I'm going to talk about what Masvidal did too. This will be the first time that I ever actually just go, okay, so he really did do it. Like, what was he like? Why? Like, what was he doing? You know what I mean? What was going through his head? How did that happen? Because he made some really bizarre choices, like doing it at a steakhouse downtown Miami in front of 1 million witnesses when Colby's not hard to find, dude. You know where he trains. How about you meet him during the day when there's no one around and there aren't going to be. Anyway, it's neither here nor we'll get into it. Now, before we get into it, super quick, if you're new to this channel, the agreement that we make here is if you're going to watch more than one of my videos, I ask you to subscribe. Okay. So, and when I say ask, I mean, like, seriously, like that's the deal. I work extraordinarily hard on this channel. I film all my own stuff. I edit all my own stuff. I bought all the software. I bought all the equipment that you're looking at. I do all the thumbnails. I do all the titles. I got some help from my man, Will. Shab helped me with the studio, but every day in and day out, I am grinding on this thing. And all I ask, if you're going to consume my content, is just that you subscribe, because it makes a huge, huge difference in the algorithm, because it starts suggesting me to more people. So it's a very cheap price. Doesn't cost you anything. That's what we ask. And I appreciate you guys doing that, because the channel's growth has been outlandish since I started, kind of publicly making the deal in each video. So thank you guys for that. And then also, I'm going to plug my other channel, Jesse on Everything, right now, because I just did a video late last night about Disney Plus, which is obviously not MMA. So it's on my other channel. My other channel has about 25,000 subscribers, or almost 25,000 subscribers. And it is such a better channel, and it's going to be the bigger channel. And so an example of a video I did last night is Disney Plus is branching outside of children's programming. And in their very first show, not, kind of at least semi directed at kids, they're going with a biopic about a fashion company. Now, what would be the most shocking fashion company you could think of for them to partner with, right? Like anyone except Balenciaga, right? Like anyone except the Balenciaga, where they have these, potential scandals with child diddling, right? The references to, things that could be taken as, following the devil, things like that. Like basically the last thing you would ever want around children would be all of the things that Balenciaga seems to represent now. And nope, you guessed it. They're doing a biopic about Balenciaga. Disney Plus. That's the company that they chose to do it with. It's almost like, wow, man, I remember when I used to think these people were crazy that said that, that round food from Italy that you chop into triangles and then you eat, that gate. We used to think that those people were completely crazy. And yet some of the things that they said seem to be, coming to fruition. Anyway, so I did a video about that on Jesse on Everything. Go give it a look. It is a a shocking video, but you'll get my take on it, and we'll go from there. Anyway, I think the link should be in the description. All right, so let's jump right into this thing, because look here, dude. Colby Covington's going first, and like I said, listen to this little like this is what he sounds like. He sounds like, well, I'm glad that you asked, sir. I have never done anything wrong in my life. I have no nerves about being here, although I'm a little bit nervous because you're the police. But I think I can tell you the information you need to go make an arrest and, make him pay for what he did. He also gives way too much information on everything. Watch.
Kid, yes, I do have a history of knowing this person. I lived with him for 2 years, and we were training partners for 8 years. We were very close friends. We literally trained together every single day. We were best friends. Obviously, I just fought this individual 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas, Nevada for the UFC on their pay-per-view, and I beat him easily. He chipped my front.
Okay, that's hilarious for multiple reasons. Like it's, first of all, this beginning part is like an edit. They took a bunch of stuff from later on and they edited it together, and it's just so funny because it's like that is so much more information than they need. Like, first of all, like that's none of this is information that they need, right? Like they don't need to know any of this stuff. They need to know, what did you do this night? Who is the perpetrator? And he punched you in the face. And then probably in the report, you say why. It's like, look, we just fought. We were hyping the fight. I said some things he had a problem with. The end. He's all, I just fought this gentleman last week in Las Vegas, Nevada for the UFC on the pay-per-view. And the result was that I beat him easily. And afterwards, I went and got an ice cream sundae with my nephew. And he asked me if he could be a fighter when he grew up. And I told him, listen, man, you're really going to have to focus on your jiu-jitsu as well as your karate. And at the same time, do well in school just in case. You know what I'm saying? And also there was someone who came up and asked me for an address and or an autograph. And you're like, dude, none of this is relevant at all. Anyway, so continuing on.
Tooth and knocked it out. So the reference to the kids is in our last fight, the build up at the press conference. I said, hey, you're a deadbeat dad. You don't talk to your kids. So I still talk to his ex-wife and his baby mama. I'm still close with the family, and I still like the kids. And I was being honest. I said the honest truth. I know it's fight promotion and anything kind of goes when you're trying to sell a fight, but I said the truth. I just said, hey, why don't you talk to your kids?
What is that, a Rolex?
Yeah, this is a Rolex President.
Rolex Presidential is a nice watch. I broke his balls about the Rolex in one of my other videos, but I take it back. I was just joking. That is a great watch. But so a couple things. Number one, I find it like the whole reason why I had such a hard time believing that this was real is because I knew they were that close. I knew that's how close they were. You could see it. You watch them together, you're like, these guys are absolutely best friends. So for this to go this bad over 12 grand and over Colby playing a character is just terrible, man. It's just terrible. And as I say it, every time that I even start saying, you want to know why I'm so apprehensive, honest to God, about saying like, okay, it looks like their beef was real. I swear to God, I'm telling you guys the honest truth when I tell you this, is because I feel like at some point I'm going to be in a room with Masvidal and Colby, and they're going to be like, we got you, dude. You were the only one that didn't believe, and we finally got you. And I'm like, God, why didn't I hang? Like, it's a hypothetical that probably will almost certainly 100% will never happen. But that is seriously what's in my mind. I'm like, I can't let them win, dude. I can't let them win. I can't let them win. Like, people are like in my comments, they're all, why can't you just admit you're wrong, dude? Just admit you're wrong. I'm like, well, first of all, I never said I knew for sure. I just said I didn't believe it. So, you can't really be wrong because I'm just stating how I feel, not stating a fact about the thing necessarily. But nonetheless, here is what I would say to you. You think I'm worried about saying I'm wrong to you? I don't want Masvidal and Colby to know they tricked me. Okay? I don't want them to know that they tricked me. And you can feel free to write in the comments, they don't know who you are, and that is totally possible. I just humiliated myself on Demetrius Johnson's page because someone was in my live chat under Mighty Gaming, impostering Demetrius Johnson. And so I just went in the super chat and I was like, hey, man, I've been trying to get a hold of you since I saw you in the live stream. He had no fucking idea who I was. Imposters. Whoever did that, that's a good one, dude. That's a good prank. You got me, dude. I embarrassed myself today. I super chatted him. I look like a fucking idiot. Anywho, but I did still win MMA Content Creator of the Year on Shab's Thick Boy yesterday. What's up? Anyway, I just gave you guys so much material to fuck with me in the comments with. They're like, first of all, of course he doesn't know who you are. Masvidal doesn't know who you are. Colby doesn't know who you are. You want it on Thick Boy? Oh, congratulations. Oh, Shab gave it to you. I'm glad you embarrassed yourself. You're a fucking idiot for believing that that was actually Demetrius Johnson, and you're ugly, and we hate everything about you. There you go. I just took all the power away. If you put it in the comments, I already said it about myself. So
Presidential.
A day date.
Oyster
perpetual.
This is Detective.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? They're all, oh, is that a Rolex presidential? He's all, it is a Rolex presidential. He's all, yeah. Date, gold, white face, oyster perpetual. They're all right. Glad that we got all that down.
Today, Miami Beach Police Department. This is Detective Gonzalez. We're here at the Miami Beach Police Department. Today's date is 3/22 of 2022. The time is now 0:21 hours. I'm speaking with reference to an incident that took place on 3/21/2022 at 22:50 hours.
Okay, one thing I'm going to say right now, I am going to sprinkle in like my evaluation of how real this is. So Colby in the video just did it like a reference, you know, where he like did a thing where he was like he was telling a story and kind of how he shook George off. That rings very true to me, you know. Like when people are telling the truth, they kind of naturally will give like physical you know, imitations of what they did if there was like a physical kind of component to it. And if they're lying, it doesn't come, it's like the physical part comes off really kind of rigid and weird. That looked real to me. So Jesse, everybody knows it's real. Why are you talking about this? I don't know. I just say what I'm thinking on the channel. This is what I do.
Hours. If you could just raise your right hand for me, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth upon oath and affirmation in accordance with the laws of the state of Florida?
I do.
Okay. I do. Dude, Jesse, this channel is unwatchable. It's just you yapping. Like, geez, get to the point. I'm like, hey, bro. Hey, spoiler. The channel is me yapping. That's the whole show, dude. If you don't like it, this is not the channel for you. If me yapping right now is infuriating, you're all, get to the video about Colby. It's like, you really came here to watch the video about Colby? Because you could just go watch the video about Colby. Okay, this channel is about me yapping. If you find me entertaining, you like the channel. If you don't, then you don't. It's really straightforward. Fuck
You can lower your hand. And are you under the influence of any substance, including medication, that may affect your ability to correctly answer my questions?
No.
He's all never in my life.
Okay. So if you could just break down what happened today. I know you were at a restaurant. You were leaving the restaurant. If you could just run through what happened once you left the restaurant.
So I was eating inside Poppy Steakhouse with my friend Cal Forgard, who's the main guy for the Nelk Boys, and then another guy named Bob Menery, who's a super famous personality. He used to be the voiceover for Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh, I love you, Colby. How the fuck is that relevant, dude? I'm serious. How on earth is that relevant, dude? He's also, I was with Kyle. He's the main guy from the Nelk Boys. You guys know the Nelk Boys, right? You do. And then I was with Bob Menery. He's a super famous personality. You know, also a side note, he actually did the voiceover for Buffalo Wild Wings. They're all, wait, he's the voice of, he's the guy? Yeah, him. The voiceover for Buffalo Wild Wings? Yeah, it's him, dude. The guy I was eating with did the voiceover for Buffalo Wild Wings. They're all, wow, man. Wow. Forget about this crime. Let's talk more about that.
He has a big platform and a big thing. And they put up a story post, you know, that we were hanging out together, but we didn't post where we were. But I could see that it's easy to identify the background of where we were. You see the flowers, you see all the extravagant stuff that is at Poppy Steakhouse.
Side note, who thinks that Bob Menery really did set Colby up? Now that we're in the realm of like, this is actually real, you know, we're in that realm, like this is actually real. Who thinks he set him up? Well, you can't see my hand. I do. You know, I mean, if it's real, I think he did. Because of what he did with the Nelk Boys. You know, he went public. He's like, give me my money, man. Give me my money. Ooh, if you're a give me my money guy, I think maybe you'd be like, hey, George, I'm with your arch nemesis. I heard you wanted to get him, dude. Mm-hmm. Make sure no one ever finds out that I made this call. I don't want to be an accessory to punching his tooth out and breaking his Rolex.
So we decided we're going to leave Poppy and we're going to go to Swan to go meet up with some people over there, some friends. And we're sitting outside, and as soon
How is that relevant?
as we walk out, like a bunch of people kind of bombarded us. They wanted pictures. A couple of people were asking me to sign gloves. Like I signed like 4 or 5 different gloves from like 3 or 4 different fans. And we were there for probably like 3 to 5 minutes right outside Poppy Steakhouse. And then we're like, hey, let's go. Let's get out of here. It's time to go. As soon as we're about to walk across the street, I get sideswiped from the side. Like I get punched in the mouth real quick and kind of get dizzed up. I look up and I see who it is. I can see in his eyes it's Jorge Masvidal. I can see his hair coming out of his hoodie, but he has a face mask on, a surgical face mask. But he's saying, "You shouldn't have fucking talked about my kids. You shouldn't have fucking talked about my kids." So I was easily able to identify, like, that's his voice, that's his eyes, that's his hair. I know exactly who that is. And he took 2 quick punches to me. Like, it happened so fast when we were crossing the street to go to my car to leave to go to the next place that he came from the side and bam, took 2 fast clips at me. And then, like, we're like squared up and I'm like getting him off of me because he's with like a couple people. And there was like one bigger guy that had his fist clenched and he was going to come at me. But I was able to get away from George, run back in Poppy Steakhouse. He followed me back into Poppy Steakhouse. He opened it, but there was a couple security guards at Poppy Steakhouse in the front. They're like, no, you can't come in, get out. I went behind the bar. I called the police station, and I waited for you guys' arrival.
Okay, so like I was saying, like with all that other, like every single thing leading up to that part of the story, it's like, oh yeah, wait, so exactly how many gloves did you sign? And what were those fans wearing? You know, what were their ages? Like if you were going to guess their ages of the fans, like, you know, were most of them in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s? It's like, none of this matters, dude. We were about to go to this other place to meet irrelevant, you know. But then when it comes to the time to describe the actual crime, he killed it, dude. You know, he's like, I can see his eyes. I can see his hair. He's wearing a surgical mask, but I can hear his voice. I know him very well. It was Jorge Masvidal. He hit me twice in the face. I was able to shake him off me. There was another man there who was looking menacing with his clenched fist. I thought to myself, oh no, sir. I don't think that this is an engagement I would like to be in. And thus I ran back into Poppy's. And I was protected by the security guards. I came in, I picked up the telephone, and I called you guys. They're all, wow. Wow, suddenly we're working so efficiently. Thank you, Colby. Great job. I love Colby Covington. Okay? This is just funny. That's what I do. I just tease people, dude, including myself. Hey, DJ, what's up, dude? Oh, my. Ever since you were on my live stream, I've been so excited to talk to you, dude. Oh, so flattered. He's all, thanks for the $20. I have no fucking idea who you are, dude. Hey, so what, like, he literally, no joke, I forgot about this. He goes, man, the only live stream I've been on is like this guy playing this video game, the Elvin video game. He's like, maybe that's you. I was like, no, it's not me. And whoever pretended to be you really stuck their cock up my ass today, didn't they? I'm embarrassed. So embarrassed, I'm going to tell my entire audience about it, you know. But, you know, anywho, there's a little bit more to this one that we'll watch, then we'll go to George's.
All right, so backing up, you said that you were certain that it's Jorge Masvidal. And how is it that you're able to determine that? Do you have a history of knowing this person? And if you do, if you could explain how long and stuff like that.
Okay, I was just about to make fun of this cop, but I forgot that the beginning part where he had already said that is actually chopped from this part.
So, yes, I do have a history of knowing this person because I lived with him for 2 years and we were training partners for 8 years. So,
dude, doesn't Colby sound like he's narked out like tons of people in his life? Like this just feels like it comes off so naturally to him. He's like, this is one of my favorite things to do is I like ratting on people. And I'm not doing the thing where it's all, hey, bro, you shouldn't have ratted on him, dude. You shouldn't have ratted on him. You know, I'm more in the camp of like, yeah, Masvidal, you definitely shouldn't have attacked him, and you really shouldn't have attacked him on the street. But at the same time, you also shouldn't have ratted on him. You know, it's like there's no one did anything right here. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like Team George or like Team Colby. I'm like, I can't get behind attacking him on the street. You know, I can't get behind that. And simultaneously, I can't get behind narking out your best friend. You know, even if he's your former best friend who just punched you in the mouth, I can't get behind diming him to the cops, dude. Like, you know, if he's a stranger, if he was an absolute stone stranger, Fuck yeah, fuck him. If you know who he is, you're all, yeah, it's a shithead that, you know, I know where his office is. It's next door to this place. Fuck him, you know, put him in the cuffs. If he wants to handle it a different way, we could try that too. But yeah, feel free. I don't want to waste the energy. Go get him. But your best friend, and he punched you because you talked about his kids, you know, dime him to the cops? Come on. And George, you just fought him for 25 minutes. I realized, I was thinking about this too, like about like why George probably did it, assuming, you know, this is all real. But like, you know, assuming that he did, like, it's like, I can get there in that when you lose a fight the way that George lost it, it's not like he got like beat down. You know what I mean? Like he got smothered with wrestling to where he was just unable to fight. Cause like I said, George looked good in that fight. In the times that he was standing up, dude, his kicks were on point. He was super fast. That one part of the game where Colby is exceptional, he just couldn't do anything. And so he's basically just sitting there like he's just stuck the whole fight, probably just choking on the fact that he's not able to fight. And then he starts brewing on it a little bit. It's his third straight loss, even though the other two were to Kamaru Usman, and it's nothing to feel bad about. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to go get this dude. Thing I don't understand, though, is Masvidal is a very, very, very smart guy. Like Masvidal is a very smart guy. If you can't read that in people, or I mean, like if you don't have the ability to look at Masvidal and size him up and go, what's going on in his noodle? You know, is this a guy who's strategic, or is this a guy who's kind of like blah, blah, blah? You know, if you can figure out he's a very strategic dude, very strategic, then you have no ability to read anyone, because he is, and he's really smart. So that's another reason why I always had trouble with this story, is like, it's just like at Poppy's Steakhouse, man. I mean, I guess maybe if he's drinking, you know, like maybe I could understand if they're like, well, Jorge, you know, like if they told their real full story, it's like, well, George is drunk, dude. Like he was wasted that night, and then he found out where Colby was. He was like, let's go get him. I can understand that. But if not that, and this was like a calculated decision, he's all, I'm going to go get him in front of Poppy's Steakhouse, in front of a bunch of civilians who are all going to obviously know who Colby is, at least a lot of them, and they'll know who I am, even if I wear a surgical mask. You know, I think that's the best way to do it. It's like, that is definitely not the best way to do it. And Colby ain't that hard to find, dude. You live in the same town, and he trains. You know where he is. There's a million places that would have been better to go get him. But anyway, neither here nor there.
So we were very close friends. We literally trained together every single day. We were best friends. Obviously, I just fought this individual 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas, Nevada for the UFC on their pay-per-view, and I beat him easily. And so I know exactly what he looks like, his eyes, his hair, and his voice.
He's a very familiar person to you, someone you've dealt with numerous times in the past. And you said that he punched you 2 times. Did you suffer an injury?
I mean, I definitely suffered the injury to my tooth. He chipped my front tooth and knocked it out. And I mean, I'm the adrenaline's still kind of going right now, but he definitely rocked me. I saw stars a little bit, but I stayed on my feet, and I was just trying to get to safety. That's all I was concerned about.
Okay.
See, that all sounds very real to me. Like the way that he described that sounds very real. He actually specifically mentioned that the adrenaline's still pumping. Yeah. I mean, that, like, if I'm an observer of an interrogation and I'm trying to gauge whether or not a guy's telling the truth, all of it sounds pretty truthful to me. But you know, and I say that right on the backside of why I was always so passionately hoping that this was not real. And honestly, I'll stand by the, you know, that certainly for the first 80% of this thing, it just looked overwhelmingly, you know, like suspicious in many, many different ways, but it's not here to there. This sounds very true. And I wonder if they started off as a work and then, you know, I don't know. I was thinking about that at that fight. I was at the fight, you know, that was the very first live show that we did, where Gabrielle and I took a group there. And we're going to do another one very soon, by the way. We're like, well, you know, it's weird. The beginning of 2023, they're like all international except for one. Anyway, it's not here to there. We're going to do another live show soon. But I just remember like thinking, just watching the whole thing and like feeling the energy and just being like, man, if this is a work. And at the time I was very convinced that it was. I would say I was 85% sure that it was then, 85, 90%. Now I would say I'm 85, 90 in the opposite direction. But like, I just remember being like, they're trapped in this thing now. You know, whether it was a work when they started and right now, man, this is as real as it gets. Like, you're going to have to go in there. You have to fight each other in the octagon. This might have sounded good in theory when you're like, oh, we'll juke everyone, make us think we have a beef. But now you're getting in that cage and only one of you is coming out with a victory. And the other one, and that one's going to have to take it from the other guy. So like, terrible, man. And if they hated each other, it's still like, that's what I've always said about that. It's like, even if they did now hate each other, like, you can't be that close and have nothing but hate for a guy. It's not possible, dude. Like, it's not possible. Even if George says he hates Colby, like, dude, he loved him for 10 years, right? Like, his best friend. It's just sad, man. That's all. Or this is the moment where they're like, we got this motherfucker.
Okay. And did you see if he got into any vehicle or anything like that when he left?
I wasn't able to see if he got into any vehicle because I ran into the steakhouse and he followed me kind of that way. So I just stayed in the steakhouse and was
So
trying
you
to get
said
over.
he was wearing a surgical mask. If you could just describe the clothing that you remember. I know that you got struck, but if you could just go over the clothing that you do remember that he was wearing.
Yeah, he was definitely.
Look at Menery, dude. He's all, listen, Colby, what I need you to understand is I definitely did not set you up with George. And also keep in mind, I did the voiceover for Buffalo Wild Wings. So if you start getting any crazy, theories in your mind, always go back to that. Would the guy that did the voiceover for Buffalo Wild Wings set me up to get violently assaulted because I think that the guy who's going to assault you is actually kind of cooler and a little bit of a bigger star so I could get brownie points with him? Would I do that? Buffalo Wild Wings guy, man. Come on.
Definitely wearing a sweater. I don't know what type of sweater it was. It was either gray or black. And then he was definitely wearing like some sweats and he had his hoodie on. He had the surgical mask on, and I think he maybe had like a hat on, but I could clearly see.
All right. Blah, blah, blah. Now let's do George.
Oh, you're a doctor?
Yes, sir.
Nobody touched
Okay. By the way, the dude in the blue shirt is the biggest Masvidal fan in the police station. Okay. Like he found out Masvidal was coming in. He's like, hey man, let me book him, dude. Let me book him. Listen to how, like, this guy's like, in a second, he's all, so you didn't get hurt or nothing. I mean, not that you would ever get hurt, George. Not that anyone would ever be able to hurt you, you big, tough, savage man. I bet you've never lost a fight against someone who was in the street. Tell me about your toughest fight, Street Judas. Except not gay, just he loves him.
you, beat you up. Not that they would, but Jorge, Masvidal. How the hell you got a 939 number?
Well, I plan on moving it somewhere where there's a lot of jungle and close to the beach. That's what I want.
He's moving to PR.
Transport you, right?
He wants to move to PR. Puerto Rico.
Good street. I promised myself never again, but here I am.
Is this just for the transporter vehicles or our units got the bars now?
Thanks, man. Yeah, ain't nobody kicking out no more windows. You good with the?
Cool as a cucumber, dude. I'm telling you right now, you put Colby in the box like that. Put Colby in the box when he's in trouble. Dude, his energy will not be like George's. I'll promise you that.
Yes, sir.
Just FYI, it's shift change right now, and they don't work very fast. So we could be here for a minute. They don't move fast for nobody.
You should have told us we could have stopped that Burger King, man.
See what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this to talk shit about Colby. I don't think that there's anything like cool about like having been in trouble a million times. But like Colby, I guarantee, has like never been to the principal's office. He's never done anything like he's never been in a cop car like in the back like that. George is like, shit. He's like, I guess I took a few years off, but this feels right at home. I'm more like that, unfortunately. Oh, well, yeah, I kind of am. I don't have any arrests, though. I've never been arrested. But, man, I spent a lot of time in, in the other type of box, Jesse. On your progress report, it looks like someone wrote. I'm not even going to tell that story.
Malky and Abraham.
Abraham, yeah. Hey, what's up with their sister?
Which one? You got two, right? Iman and Enam?
Masvidal and me have the same Jordan slippers.
Oh, you're a doctor?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have a crime scene person. I'm going to take photos of you, right, to just make sure.
First of all, I love that he wore slippers to jail, dude. Like he knows he's getting arrested. He doesn't even put on shoes. He puts on slippers, dude. Just think about that. You know, anybody, like if you're getting arrested, even though you know you're going to like a holding tank, it's not going to be like the Aryan Brotherhood's there or anything. But like you know, put your fucking shoes on, right? Probably put your shoes on, just in case. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'll go in my underwear. Nobody's touching me. I don't think.
Sure that nobody touched you, beat you up. Not that they would, but
See,
we have to do that. Okay, so make sure that you're okay. Like I said, this is recorded. This room is recorded, okay? And I'm not going to ask you questions about what happened.
Why not?
Okay, but I do need basic information like who you are, your date of birth, and so forth, okay? Your full name is what?
Jorge Masvidal.
You ever used any other names?
I have a stage name when I compete, but my name is Jorge Masvidal. No.
And the cops all, I already know your stage name, Game Bread.
What's your date of birth?
Street
11
Jesus.
12.
I mean, Street
84.
Jesus.
How old are you now?
37.
Your current home address? 33183.
Yes, sir.
That's your house or somebody else's house?
My house.
Hey, you guys, Masvidal's zip code is 33183. Now you got where he is. And now you have the zip code. So, go get him.
Phone?
Yeah.
What's your phone?
It's 939
939.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico?
No. I got the Puerto Rico number.
Puerto Rico, bro.
Yeah.
Mine is actually 787. My every one. So
Why is it?
mine is legit.
How the hell you got a 939 number?
Well, I plan on moving there, so it's just a matter of time before I get over there.
I got you. Whereabouts? Where?
Somewhere where there's a lot of jungle and close to the beach. That's what I want. Nowhere near the city.
You and me both, brother. You and me both. I would move to PR in a heartbeat. I don't care about hurricanes. I don't care about power going out. There's no taxes there, and you get to live on the BZ. When people start doing the math on the no taxes thing, PR gets real enticing. If I didn't have kids, I think me and Gab might just go. We're content creators and distributors. We can work from anywhere. I love Austin though, dude. And now that I love jiu-jitsu so much, Austin's the jiu-jitsu capital of the world. That's the main reason why I started doing it. Just as a side note, it's like, dude, if you're going to live in Austin forever, the jiu-jitsu capital of the world, are you going to be someone who like spectates it, or are you going to be a black belt? I'm like, oh, well, fucking obviously I'm going to be a black belt. They're all, it takes a long time. I'm like, bitch, have you seen my motherfucking YouTube channel? Content creator of the year. Okay. On Shab's channel, 1,300 videos in 2.5 years. When it comes to like showing up to practice, showing up to make the videos, having a multi-year view, you got the right guy. It'll be a while, but 2030 ain't that far away. What year is it? Anyway, neither here nor there.
I got you. You have a job. You're a fighter. I got you.
Yes, sir.
You understand the way that I'm speaking to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, we're not going to discuss anything about the case. So what we'll do is we'll have to finish up the paperwork. It shouldn't be that long, but then we're waiting for somebody to come take photos of you. And then from here, you go to TGK.
Yes, sir.
Go to TGK. I'm sure you have a bondsman waiting already. You bond out and then just show up for court and we'll take it from there.
Got it.
Any questions?
I don't understand why they're not asking him about the incident, but whatever. Probably he said he's not going to talk about it without a lawyer because that's what a smart person does. I watched, dude, you guys watch Jack Can't Swim, JCS, Criminal Psychology. It's one of the best YouTube channels of all time. It's like top three, one of my top 3 favorite channels ever. They take these interrogations. I mean, you guys have probably seen it. They're like, some of their videos have 60 million views. They take these interrogation videos of extremely famous cases, and then they have these experts at interrogations who write the script, and they explain what the tactics that the interrogators are using. And the one that just came out yesterday, the first one they've done in a year, is about it's this guy who, when he was blacked out drunk, killed his girlfriend and had no idea that he killed her. He's just this huge lacrosse player, and she was this tiny little girl. He just kind of remembered like shaking her or whatever. He really had no idea. He's just like this dumb jock guy. Like he's not even like a bad dude. And the interrogation is so crazy because he just starts talking without his lawyer there. because he doesn't have any idea. They didn't even tell him what he's doing there. And he literally just walked himself into the mouth of a second-degree murder charge, which is what he ended up getting convicted of, because he just was blah, 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 no lawyer, and he just buried himself. It's like, geez, man. I mean, you should know that from television, okay? The only reason you would ever be in the box with these guys is because they are well, I mean, I guess sometimes you might be there giving a statement on, a crime that you were privy to or something, or like you were witness to. But I don't even know if they do that in the box. Like, I think they come to you when you're a witness. I don't know if they have to be honest with you about whether or not you're a suspect, but like, if you know for sure you're a suspect and you talk to investigators without a lawyer, you are a fucking idiot. And don't assume because you're innocent that means that like you could speak freely. That's just not how it works, man. Those are I can't watch documentaries about people who are wrongly imprisoned. That's like my worst nightmare of all time. Like Making a Murderer, true story. I've told this on the channel before, but just for newbies. By the way, this is basically, that's it for the George Masvidal thing for the most part. But yeah, like I like when I started watching Making a Murderer, I watched the first 2 episodes, so like he got convicted of the thing, he got exonerated, and he came out of jail. And then when it looked like there was going to be like a $35 million, liability that was going to be on the cops and the lawyers and everybody who put him in jail originally. And then all of a sudden he gets accused of this other murder, and I was watching him in the interviews, kind of the same way that I'm watching, Colby's body language, whatever, just trying to gauge where he's at. And I believe Avery 100% that he didn't do it. Like I believe him 1,000%. And so I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, if this documentary is going to end with him getting convicted of this crime, I'm not watching it. Like I'm not going to go through 7 hours of torture leading to that outcome. And so I stopped it. I went to the last episode. I saw that he got convicted and I didn't watch it. True story. And yeah, people get wrongly convicted all the time, dude. All the time. But nonetheless, if George punched Colby, it's not going to be a wrongful conviction. However, it just seems really weird. Professional fighters pressing charges. I don't know. It's just kind of weird, man. It's just kind of weird. But I enjoyed doing this. I like doing the reaction videos. And I am going to go live later, and you guys should join me for that. I love you guys. Merry Christmas. Check out the SWAGIT app. That is like TikTok, but I can say whatever I want on it. The link is in the description. It's like Rumble for short form content, and I'm talking about all that P-Gate stuff on there, yo. And definitely go check out Jesse on everything. And that is what I've got. I love you guys. Peace.